Outside here. Quickly to Knox. He exposed to a hole. And a challenge and a block by John Collins. To Robinson to Kevin Knox. Kevin looking, shooting. High archer is short. R.J. Barrett. Knox drops it. Knox again. Goes up through two defenders. Kevin Knox looks for a shot from the foul line. Back iron. Collins.
Over the last few years, or scratch that, over the last few decades, the Knicks have become a destination where young players go and see their careers plummet. From multitudes of young prospects never reaching their potential, to even more established players who go there and see their reputation change for the worse. The city of dreams has become the city of memes. New York is the largest NBA market, so the Knicks will always be popular, but despite being blessed with a city that historically many free agents wanted to go to, the obvious lack of success in modern times have scared them off. To make it clear, I'm not just making this video because I'm a hater. As a Knicks fan, most other Knicks fans would agree that nobody is harder on the Knicks than we are, and nobody else wishes the Knicks do better more than we do. Kevin Knox, a guy who, prior to draft night, was compared to the likes of Jason Tatum or Tobias Harris, yet he has clearly not lived up to anything. While it's still relatively early in his NBA career, it's been going downhill since his rookie season, and most recently, his playing time has significantly decreased. With that being said, he's slowly carving a different role for himself, and the Knicks culture is starting to change. How's it going, folks? My name's Andy, and today, let's talk about Kevin Knox. To give some context to people who haven't followed his career, Knox started off his NBA journey with a respectable rookie season. Now, I'm being generous here, cause he was still very bad. He was raw, he was inexperienced, and we all knew he was a project. With every brick he threw up, I always believed that this was just part of the process. He was a 19-year-old thrown into a dumpster fire, immediately getting nearly 30 minutes a game. I mean, what are they gonna do? It's not like the Knicks had anyone else better to play. So this was essentially a trial by fire. Knox had the ultimate green light, throwing up the most ridiculously contested shots, and just looked completely lost on both ends. But that's fine, right? It's supposed to build up his confidence and get him accustomed to the NBA game. And what better way to do it than giving him a ton of minutes? Nobody said anything, nobody could blame him, cause at least they gave him the opportunity to play. So despite his objectively terrible rookie season, the experience was supposed to be worth it. Fast forward to his sophomore year, and this is when people started to get impatient. While it was expected of Knox to make a big jump, instead, he went backwards. It turns out, having free reins to do whatever you want on the worst team in the league with absolutely zero motivation to win, that's not very productive for your career. Everything he struggled with in his rookie season, we didn't pay much attention to it, because we assumed he would naturally learn and get better. That didn't happen. He went into a major sophomore slump. Defensively, he was still one of the worst in the league. Out of every player on the Knicks, he had the second worst net rating, behind Dennis Smith Jr., unsurprisingly. It's not even cause he's slow or anything, he just simply isn't giving enough effort. For comparison, prior to the suspension of the season due to COVID, Knox and his teammate Elfrid Payton both played nearly 1,000 total minutes. Yet, Payton had 4 times the number of deflections compared to Knox. Comparatively, that looks even worse because Knox is a wing player, and wing players usually get more deflections than point guards. Additionally, out of all small forwards in the entire NBA, Knox ranked dead last in real plus-minus. It wasn't even close. He was dead last by a long shot, much worse than even the second last player, Daniel House. This means he's such a massive negative when he's on the floor and literally hurts his team more than any other player at his position. You know, I'm all for giving young guys more minutes and letting them develop, but at a certain point, if you're that bad, you don't deserve the minutes. Knox was so terrible that the team was willing to play a 30-year-old Marcus Morris instead. Of course, Morris was never gonna stay for long, but at least he was good and productive up until his trade. In fact, it was Mitchell Robinson, a sophomore drafted in the second round, who caught everyone's attention. Plus, Julius Randle came into his own, and RJ Barrett was generating some noise. So even through Knox's struggles, at least there was something to look forward to. There were questions surrounding what position Knox should even play, as it was a point of debate even prior to the draft. Is he better off trying to outspeed other power forwards, or should he use his large size to take advantage of small forwards? Either way, this question was put in the back seat because he's pretty damn at both positions. There's more important stuff to worry about. Over the 2020 offseason, it was desperation time. The Knicks organization made it very clear to Knox that if he was going to be a part of their future, he needs to show something. But first, he needs to prove he actually deserves playing time, as the team has a plethora of young players waiting for their chance. There were a lot of reporters questioning him about his place on the team, if he can really bounce back from that abysmal sophomore season. Knox responded, "Last year was rough, but I stayed in the gym all year last year and continued to get better. Unfortunately, we had the coaching changes, and I wish those coaches nothing but the best. I think everyone going into training camp is fighting for minutes and fighting for spots, so I'm going to go in there and I'm going to compete every single day." Under new head coach Tom Thibodeau, the Knicks have revamped their entire game plan. In years past, Thibodeau was always known to be a great defensive coach in Chicago, but that reputation took a hit in Minnesota. But now on the Knicks, he's showing why he's known as a great defensive coach. Even though their roster remained similar, the team made a massive leap. Here are some numbers. All of them are up to date as of this video. The Knicks are holding opposing teams to under 44% from the field, the lowest mark in the entire league. They're holding opponents to just 31% from three, also the lowest mark in the league. They're taking care of the ball way more than before, as opposing teams only get around 6 steals per game against the Knicks. In total points, they're holding teams to just 104 points per game, the second lowest mark right behind the Lakers. The thing is, this isn't because every player on the Knicks randomly became amazing defenders. It's almost purely on coaching. Thibodeau, in recent years, drew some criticism for his archaic defensive schemes, but now he adapted and has zoned in on specifically defending threes and shots in the paint. Not only that, but he successfully implemented his signature ice coverage in the pick and roll, and fine-tuned it a bit to make sure corner threes are always covered, which is statistically the most efficient shot in the game. He's done a good job defending it. The Knicks are now very good at covering the corners, but not only that, offensively, they're focusing on shooting more corner threes themselves. For Knox, he's not exactly having a career season, nor is he getting significant playing time, but when he's on the floor, he found a niche. The coaching staff placed Knox into the corners as they knew he was a pretty strong shooter from that area. As a rookie, he hit 38% of his corner threes, and now he's trying to emulate that success once again. There aren't many strong points in Knox's game, but his ability to hit them at a high rate is one of them. So far in the 2021 campaign, he's been knocking down 51% of his corner threes, 39% overall, both of which are career highs. Defensively, he's been hustling, more so than before, and contributed to the Knicks' top 6 defensive rating. It's been a more team-oriented approach on defense, and he's been a great cog in the machine. However, despite his improved play, over time, his minutes started to dwindle. By late January, he was playing fewer than 10 minutes a game, and now, in early February, he didn't play at all for a few consecutive games. The Knicks have started to prefer going small, with Emmanuel quickly getting more and more minutes, while Knox's minutes have decreased. Tom Thibodeau was asked about Knox's role on the team, and he simply said it's a matchup thing, and his minutes will fluctuate depending on who they're playing, whatever is the best fit for him in the rotation. For Knox, he kept his head up, but it does feel awkward. The Knicks' other young players have shown more potential than Knox ever has. Even though he's playing the best basketball of his young career, it's still not enough to convince the organization he's worth keeping. In response to his decreasing minutes, he told the media, "I know we got a lot of great players on this team. The rotations can get tight. Coach makes a lot of decisions, but he's the head coach ultimately, so whatever decision he makes, I gotta respect it." I think that's very important right now, just being the best teammate I can be no matter how much playing time I get. Just encouraging my guys, making sure that I help some of the young guys, Obi, Quick, and even some of the older guys if I see something from the side. I'm always staying ready, working hard in practice, going 100% because you never know when my number can be called. But in the back of his mind, he wished he was out there, and the looming threat of being replaced is more evident than ever. Do I think Knox will be part of the Knicks' future? I don't know, it's too early to say, but he's going to be in for an extension soon. The Knicks were gonna use this season to gauge whether or not they want to invest in his future. Considering there's numerous other young players that have shown they're more capable than him, it's not looking good for the once prominent prospect from Kentucky. Anyway, that's all folks. What's your opinion on Kevin Knox? Do you foresee him having a future on the Knicks, or a future in the NBA in general? So much for talks of being a star. Is he even a starting caliber player? A lot of people have given up on him after his sophomore year, but he has shown improvements across the board. Is it enough though? Thank you all so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and of course, as always, I'll see you next time. Peace.